but a far from certain future. With its long history of upheaval, Kosovo is one of the most volatile territories in the world. In the late 90s, it was torn apart when it became involved in the deadly Balkan War. As Serbs and Kosovo Albanians fought a violent battle for control of Kosovo. More than 10,000 people were killed. Many of the dead were victims of ethnic cleansing as the Serbs attempted to overpower the Kosovo Albanians. The conflict was ended when NATO intervened, bombing the Serbs into submission in a bid to end the ethnic cleansing. The United Nations moved in to police the region, in which tensions between the two groups still raged. But there is one town in Kosovo where that's a lot easier said than done. Mitrovica is a town at war with itself. In the south of the city live the Kosovo Albanians, and in the north the Kosovo Serbs. Both groups still see Mitrovica and Kosovo as their territory. Many of them are prepared to fight for it.
Mitrovica is like a modern day Northern Ireland.
The man charged with keeping the peace in this hotspot is David McLean.
Murders are quite common. We had one last week, we've had one today. These are just normal daily policing for this region.
As regional commander of the UN police in Mitrovica, David knows the city better than most.
There's what we call an imaginary red line, where they both know each other's territory.
Mitrovica is split by a river. The river is crossed by a bridge which is regularly the scene of violent clashes between the police and the warring factions.
We've had large demonstrations here over the years. We've had violence on this bridge. We've had explosions on this bridge. The violence can erupt at any second.
And when it does, it's the Kosovo Police Service and the UN who get caught in the middle of it. They often come under fire, trying to keep the two sides apart. But the danger doesn't faze David. In fact, he relishes it.
My job's a hobby to me. Ever since I joined the police way back in 1991, each day I go to it, it's because I love it. Oh, how can you say it's good?
Fresh guy.
It's a buzz to be in it.
Can you imagine doing any other job?
No, absolutely not. Well, I'm glad you are here to support the region. That's the main thing. Helps me, makes my job easier when you come here to support me.
Yeah.
So this. Okay, see you later on. Bye-bye. Back home I have a wife and 3 children, and I'm missing out on some of the most important times of their life. Coming up to doing higher education and all that. Sometimes I think to myself, am I selfish being here? Should I be back home with them? But who else is going to come and do this job? Yeah, there'll be somebody else ready to follow in, but I think I put my heart into this job. But I'll also try and put my heart into my family also.
David joined the British Ministry of Defence Police in 1991. He volunteered for the UN posting in Kosovo in June 2007. And despite having worked around the globe, he's never seen anything quite like Mitrovica.
These are the style of weapons that we come under attack from. This is known as an AK-47. This is the style of bullet that it fires. Very powerful, 7.62. If you go through all the history since '99, I think nearly every household in Kosovo had one of these in them at one time and still have at this present time.
There are estimated to be up to 400,000 small arms in Kosovo. So David needs to keep his vital organs protected.
See? Protects the bollocks.
So if a bullet hit that, you'd be completely...
Oh, you'd be in pain, but it wouldn't go through. It wouldn't go through.
David is well aware of the importance of good body armour, as he has policed some of the most violent clashes Mitrovica has ever seen. One of the worst happened in March 2008. Kosovo had recently declared its independence as an independent state, no longer under UN administration. This provoked a violent response from the Kosovo Serbs, who fervently believe that Kosovo is a province of Serbia. In protest to the declaration, Kosovo Serb court workers broke into the city's courthouse and staged a sit-in. The events of that day are indelibly printed on David's mind.
The court workers broke off the fence gates there, lifted them off, and then they came down here. There was a crowd of maybe 300 of them. They forced their way down to here, and then when they got to the gates, the other side of the armoured vehicle, they pushed the gates down and then broke in through the window.
After occupying the courthouse for 3 days, the protesters felt they'd made their point and agreed to leave peacefully with the police. But things were about to take a turn for the worse.
Once they were taken into detention, they were put into prison escort vehicles and they were taken out by the rear gate here. When they proceeded out through the rear, the vehicles come under attack. Once they came back in here and they regrouped, we then thought that we would try and get them out through the main gate there. After trying to get out, the back was blocked and we tried to get them to leave out the front. This is where the convoy came under attack.
The situation quickly descended into chaos.
And as you can see from the marks here, one of the UN vehicles was actually burnt in this area. This was a bus that was set on fire. You can still see the tarred Scotch marks from it. What they were doing was they were using the petrol station to make their Molotov cocktails. They were rolling up with crates of bottles, just filling them with petrol, putting cloth into them and just throwing them constantly.
The mob succeeded in freeing the protesters and then attacked with a renewed vigour.
Here we come under attack from AK-47s down here, mortars from fire from AK-47s, 3 to 4 hand grenades thrown at the front gate, another 45 are thrown at the back gate. We've got mortar attack coming in above us. It was a war zone.
And in the battle, one of David's colleagues paid the ultimate price.
Officer Ihor from Ukraine was subject to a hand grenade at the far side of the fence there, where he sustained serious injuries that resulted in his death.
By the time it was over, the police had lost 1 officer and 63 others lay injured.
knowing that it was a fellow officer, it hurts you. You think to yourself, is there anything I could have done better to improve things? Who was to blame? Can I find the culprit that carried it out? And that's my main aim at the moment, is to make sure that a thorough investigation is carried out.
In the last year of the 20th century, Kosovo was devastated by war. With no established law and order, the Kosovo Police Service was set up to try and bring stability to the region.